Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racine Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Max Broad. Welcome.
Hey, Krylios, great to be here. Great to be with Team Racine.
Yes, it is great to have you here with us today. Thanks so much for being here. How are you?
I couldn't be better. I love DC summer, so I'm doing good.
Oh, awesome. Summers in DC are the best. So, Max, the way how we like to start things off here, we'd love to have you introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about your background and experience and what you do.
Yeah. So, hey, Max Broad. I am. I brought DC Veg Restaurant Week for the first year here. Would love to talk more about that. But really, my background is in climate organizing. Recognizing that we have a climate crisis on our hands and we have a lot to do about it. So I've been doing climate advocacy for over a decade, really trying to move the ball forward on how we can build a more sustainable planet, more sustainable future. And in recent years, what that's led me to is really looking for more sustainable food, how we can make our food system go from one of the biggest contributors to climate change to finding ways to reduce that pollution and build in a more sustainable system. So, that's really shaped and informed my thinking over recent years.
Certainly. And actually, wanted you to touch on that a little bit because for many people who aren't in the know about some of the climate change factors and especially how food plays a part in that and how food production and consumption plays a part in that, please explain to our audience how those go hand in hand.
Yeah, great question. And most people don't even think about this because they think of fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas as being the main contributors of climate change, which they are. But close to them, a very big source of pollution is our food systems and especially meat production. Meat production is so bad because it's really inefficient. Anytime you make a pound of meat, you have to put in 7 to 10 pounds of feed into that. And it's just so much more inefficient if you feed those plants directly to people. And so most people don't realize, but especially cows are the worst. The pollution from their stomachs, they burp methane, and then also they have an immense amount of deforestation that there's a lot of deforestation for making space for cattle to both feed and to roam. And so when the fires were blowing up in the Amazon a few years ago, that was all, a big part of that was making space for cattle, which is just like incredibly bad for the planet, environment, and for us.
Certainly. And so now that, taking a stance when it comes to, sustainable food production and, just food in general. To tell me how that led into DC Veg Week, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's clear that our food systems are extremely broken, whether it's the havoc it wreaks on our environment, whether it's what it does to the workers and the terrible conditions for laborers, especially migrant laborers and undocumented laborers. And, also with the terrible effects that it has on our health. And so, eating unhealthy food. And so this DC Veg Restaurant Week was a chance to flip the script and recognize some of the restaurants that are trying to build good solutions. Some of the restaurants that are trying to be part of the reform and trying to bring things forward in a great way. And so it was so much fun. We had over 30 restaurants participating, featuring some of the best plant-based dishes in the District of Columbia, the nation's capital. And it was so fun to see all these great different cuisines and different takes from fine dining to fast casual on great plant-based eats.
Awesome. And tell me about this. What the city of Washington, District of Columbia, how great is it for, plant-based foods and plant-based diets and, a variety of plant-based options? What's the food scene here like? Is it great when it comes to plant-based options?
DC is totally underrated when it comes to plant-based eats. I mean, we had, like I said, almost 36 restaurants participate And that was just scratching the surface. There's so many other ones serving great foods. And it was really fun to get wonderful cuisines from all different ethnicities, like Supra's Georgian cuisine and Ballagain's Filipino cuisine. And there was great Mexican cuisine like Cielo Rojo and El Tamarindo. And, it was just from all over the world, which just made it really fun and just a variety, delicious, plentiful cornucopia of food.
I love that. I love that. Well, for people who wanted to actually start doing something different with their diet, wanting to adopt, a more plant-based focused diet, and especially in regards to, helping to stimulate the effects of climate change, how can they, start out by, doing that, getting more information and taking those steps to make that happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that. And I really commend anybody who's thinking about ways that they can lower their carbon footprint or really have any positive impact. I mean, the great thing is that, as terrible as the animals are treated, any impact that we have in reducing our meat consumption, it's good for the animals, it's good for the planet, and really, it's great for us too. It just makes, they say you are what you eat and food is medicine, right? And we know that eating healthy and putting good food in our body makes such a huge difference in our well-being. And so, the way I like to recommend folks start is, which is super fun, is if you can, and you have the means, go to the store and buy one of every kind of everything, like, for example, let's say you're a big cheese person, go and buy one of every kind of plant-based cheese, and you're not going to like all of them, but there's some that you're going to love, and they're great cheeses out there. Same with yogurt, same with milks. Just go have a field day, see what you like, and taste test. See it as a taste test venture. But also, don't see plant-based eating as something only for those with means and those with privilege. There's a great blog out there called Plant-Based on a Budget, and it's really channeling, cuisines that date back and relate to cultures that have been around for millennia, that are based in beans and rice, that are based in great, healthy, hearty vegetables. And, it's easy to do with just a little bit of research to eat a plant-based, wholesome diet.
Awesome. That is great to know. Well, what can people expect, from upcoming DC Veg Restaurant weeks? Will there be expansions to more restaurants? Anything else? Talk about it.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited for this, and I'm so glad you asked, because it was a huge effort to put it on this year, but we really hope to bring it back again next year because it was really fun. And, we were excited because restaurants like, for instance, El Tamarindo is keeping a lot of their vegan items on the menu. So they're expanding, they're using this as an opportunity to build out and introduce some great food to DC. In addition, we're going to be active all year round, just highlighting the restaurants as they bring out their good veg news and veg dishes. So we're going to be giving shout outs. And in fact, tomorrow I'll be at Hip City Veg at their new location right in front of Nats Stadium. And I'll be down there before baseball games. They'll be rolling out their hot dog cart where they're serving Beyond Meat plant-based sausages. So I'll be there tomorrow, the 14th? No, the 12th, Tuesday the 12th from 5:30 to 7. And so I encourage people to stop by, pick up a plant-based brat. They're so delicious. And yeah, we'll be around all year and be super active.
Perfect. Well, how can people find out more about you, find out more about DC Veg Week, keep up with you, follow, and all of that?
Yeah, well, our website, vegdc.org, shows what we did this past year, and we'll be updating that. But also follow us on social media, just at DC Veg Week. Check that out. We're all over all the social media. Instagram has just been super fun, and the Instagram foodie community has been so receptive. And I'm glad that people are starting to think about, ways that our food can be part of the solution rather than part of the problem. And in DC, we have a real culture of starting to think of food systems reform, making positive change. The well at Alex and Run just opened up last month or recently, and they're bringing good food to people in Ward 8 that's grown locally. There's tons of thinkers and leaders like that. And, there's so many different ways that people relate to food issues, whether it's, food justice, whether it's sustainability or health, whether it's animal protection, all these great avenues that people are thinking about this. Krylios, is there a way that food most resonates with you in terms of, reform and improvements and solutions?
When it comes to me, what I always think about is the fact that for many spaces, many areas, especially in DC, you might live at an area that is so far away from getting like real healthy food, from being able to access those plant-based foods, and real access to good healthy food that's not fast food, that's not like super sugary, that's not just meats. I think that in some places in the city that might be harder for some residents, so that's something that I keep a mind of, and something that I would like to see change in the city as we move forward.
Oh, Krylios, I love it. It's such a big issue. It's not just about access, which is so important, but it's about the terrible impact that that's having on our health. As you bring up, if people only have access nearby to processed meats and sugary foods and stuff from these big fast food corporations that are trying to profit on the backs of our health, then it's gonna only have terrible. Well, we know, like Ward 7 and 8, which are have really few grocery stores, have the highest rates of diabetes, highest rates of cancer and heart disease. It's impacting our health, and it's a way that our system discriminates against people who are people of color, marginalized people, low income folks, and finding ways to increase food access and increase healthy and sustainable food access. I think we have a lot of opportunity, and we have a long ways to go, but we have a lot of opportunity.
Certainly. Well, to close this out, how can people, actively in themselves, any advice you want to give to people, how they can, start the work to start reducing their own carbon footprint and, learning more about how their, human activities will affect the planet?
Yeah, well, the best place to start is Project Drawdown. Drawdown is so fun because it lists all the different solutions that we can take to climate change, and some of them are very personal. For instance, reducing food waste and eating a plant-rich diet doesn't mean you have to eat totally vegan, but eating mostly plants are solutions 3 and 4 of the 100 on the list. So that's great. My friend Annette runs a Facebook group called Climate Steps and a blog, which is all about how individuals can partake in climate solutions, which I love. And also, have fun with it, right? Our city has so much great, rich, plant-based food. Get out there, get to Equinox, get to Plant Burger. Go grab one of those beautiful, juicy plant burgers from that are in the Whole Foods. It's good.
Awesome. Well, Max, thank you so much for joining me today. To our viewers, we're going to have those links in the description below, so you can go ahead and check that out. Max, thanks so much for being here with me today.
Great to be with you, Krylios.
Thank you. And to our viewers, please follow Team Racine Productions at Team Racine on all forms of social media. Click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. And while you're at it, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.